Uh, may I please? Uh, we are starting the proceedings of the evening. May I request all of you please. First item is recitation of Mool Mantra. I think the speakers will not mind that in any primary Sikh meeting, we just start by remembering the Lord, not for the woman. So therefore, we'll just take 2 minutes for that. May I request all of you to please stand for me. एक ओंकार सतनाम just for the information of all speakers. Just in one line, this Mool Mantra says that there is only one God and He has no animosity all before. That is what the Guru taught us. That God has no animosity against anyone and therefore He chose. Now, welcome by the Secretary, please.
Good evening, everybody. I welcome you all to this seminar. The topic, as already told everyone, was attack on Amritsar, Operation Blue Star Avoidable, historical perspective. I can see a lot of persons have come from far away distance to join us today, and some are still head up on the way because of restriction imposed in Haryana. General Lamba is one who just called me up, and he's just on his way. Similarly, from Gurudwaras, some more persons have been held up. And I'm really thankful to all the panelists who have made all the way for this seminar. And I look forward to many more such events and your participation. The cooperation from all the members and the well-wishers is most welcome. Thank you very much. And I request Dr. Naran to give a small brief on the Sikh Forum and introduce all the panelists.
Respected Dr. Subramanian Swami, Chinmay Karlekar, Harmandar, you are part of us, and our great friend, activist, and what you call a movement behind November 84 Justice Movement. Fulka, ladies and gentlemen. Most of you present here know about the Sikh Forum, but for the information of our speakers and those who are attending this meeting for the first time, just in brief, the Sikh Forum came into existence in November 1984, after 1984 carnage. In fact, it was already in the making. In early 1980s, when Punjab was allowed to burn by various vested interests, some meaningful Punjabis, including Kuldeep Nayyar, Gurudwaras Sahib, General Arora, Professor Amreek Singh, and many other senior editors, Gurudwaras and all that, they formed a small group called Punjab Group. Their concern was to intervene effectively for a meaningful settlement of Punjab. But no, it is a part of history, most of you have read, that settlement was not to be made by certain vested interests. Their interest was for certain different type of processes to continue, which ultimately culminated in Operation Blue Star and then finally 1984 carnage. Anyhow, but since this Punjab group was quite active at that time, suddenly June 84 and then November 84 happened. Then some of us concerned Sikhs felt that apart from Punjab group, there was a need for a Sikh group for three particular reasons. One was that after 1984 carnage, there was a total sense of alienation and fear among Sikhs in Delhi, Kanpur, and many other places. And again, that situation was being used by certain vested interests. The groups, I can name, the so-called Khalistanis, they were threatening Sikhs that you are not safe anywhere in India, so better to move to Punjab. And in Punjab, vested interests were making Hindus afraid that you are not safe in Punjab, you move outside Punjab. That means the process was to create the wedge between two communities, which was beyond bridgeable. At that time, we felt that no, it cannot be allowed. Sikhs have to remain wherever they are because they are citizens of India by right, not because of anyone's mercy or pity. So that was one reason that Sikhs were to be reassured about their status in India. Second was to provide some help to the victims, some sort of, what can you say, there were various groups, more than 6 other groups came for the justice, to help those people. As you all know, the retired Chief Justices of High Court of Delhi, Supreme Court, many other, I don't want to take names at this time, they all came forward for two things: A, rehabilitation of these victims, and also to demand justice for the victims. We Sikhs felt that we can provide little better coordination among these various groups. We can make them available to the concerned Sikhs, so that was our second concern. Provision of rehabilitation to the victims as well as to provide them some sort of, and ask for some type of justice. That was the second reason that Sikh Forum came into this test. The third was that we have been thinking for quite early 1980s that somehow the proper Sikh point of view was not being disseminated, neither it was being projected. It was purely Akali Congress politics. On the one hand, Akalis blaming Congress for everything and Congress blaming Akalis for everything. And both were playing their own game. We don't mind saying that. And there was no process of introspection by either of the party. So we thought it is time that a proper, objective, well-articulated Sikh point of view needs to be told to the countrymen that what we are doing, what is the real process. There are certain many events, I'll just give you small one instance. It was perhaps 1986 or so when I attended a conference in Chennai, and then my wife joined me. At that time, a teacher, a college lecturer from Calcutta, she met my wife and she asked, "Ma'am, I want to ask you a question." She said, "Please tell me." She said that when we were young students in colleges, we were told by our parents that for any reason, if you are late in the night, don't worry, hire a cab being driven by a Sikh. This is what she told my wife, that this was the situation in. Now she said, what has happened now? She was surprised that this was our perception, and now we are being told, particularly 84 advertisements in newspapers, be careful of the Sikhs. So therefore we thought that it was time, and it is in that process that certain people under the leadership of General Jagjeet Singh Arora, our late Vice President Dr. Amrik Singh, Dr. Mahib Singh, and many others, we met in Delhi at this Triveni Kala Sangha, and at there quite a lot of people, in fact overwhelming support came there, and it was decided to form a group called at that time National Sikh Forum, and for other reasons National was removed just to keep movement in mind, and it is that process that in November 84 itself Sikh Forum came into existence. And from that time onward, the Sikh Forum's attempts have been threefold. A, to provide relief and rehabilitation to those who suffered during 1984 riots. We did a lot for that. Still, some process is on in time. Second was to fight for justice in collaboration with other human rights movements. Because Sikh Forum stand was, is, and will remain that 1984 carnage was not only against Sikhs, it was a violation of human rights in general. It was an anti-democratic process by a state being controlled by some authoritative movements. Therefore, the question was, in fact, I wrote some time back, had there been no 84, it might be there would have been 1992, the party was there. Because the process was of a different time. So Sikh Forum has therefore been fighting since that time that human rights needs to be protected and communal harmony has to be maintained in this country. That was our second concern. And as I told you, the third concern was that Sikhs have been playing, are playing, and will continue to play their rightful, legitimate, and expected role in nation building, in economic development, in political process of this country. The very first article after the formation of Sikh Forum, which General Arora wrote in Hindustan Times, was that I am Sikh by right. And in that process, we have been working from that period. Just to keep the movement alive, every year in June and November, we hold these types of meetings. This year, for certain unavoidable reasons, we could not hold this meeting in June, and we are having it today. But we have been holding for the last 33 years these two meetings. One in June 1984 and second in November 84. To keep the community, not Sikhs, the community as a whole, conscious of what happened, what can happen, and what should not happen. Also, to keep Sikhs alive of the situations they faced, and also keep on doing introspection that where we committed mistakes and where we should not commit mistakes, what is our rights and what are our responsibilities. And in this process, we are very happy to say that we have received support from almost all human rights bodies, be that People's Union of Civil Liberties, be that People's Union of Democratic Rights, others here and there, and also from bodies like Delhi Sikh Gurudwara Management Committee and others. They have all supported us in all our affairs, and we are thankful to them for all. And it's just a brief because both Dr. Subramaniam and Kelkar are with us for the first time. I'm not going into much detail. But this is how Sikh Forum came to existence, and we are continuing. And we had the good fortunate to have people with us associated like Justice Narula, and most important, our friend Harmandar Sahib, those who have been fighting to see the perpetrators of those crimes behind bars. And it is a decision of the Sikh Forum that not only seek for, in fact, most of the human rights bodies, all those who believe in democratic values, all those who believe in justice, all are helping in this process that justice must be done, both to the perpetrators of November 1984, and also it should be clear why June 84 happened or why it was created, whether it happened or it was created. So in that process, we have been doing whatever little we can do and will keep on doing. And again, sir, we are very much thankful that in this year we have important speakers who are very much in touch with these activities right from early 1980s. We have with us Dr. Subramaniam. You know Dr. Subramaniam in various other aspects, but he is one of those crusaders who fought against emergency, not because of any political reason, but because of his concern for democracy and democratic values. In fact, he was till a few days back the lone survivor of the Janata Party, which was formed after emergency, because of emergency. He has been member of the Lok Sabha 3 times, members of the Rajya Sabha also 3 times, so he had a vast experience as a parliamentarian, a Union Cabinet Minister for Commerce, Law and Justice, then Chairman of the Commission on Labour Standards. It's enormous, his positions are enormous. And I don't know how many of you know that he left a very lucrative, not only lucrative, but very respectable campaign for politics of values, not politics for the sake of power. And he has been engaged in that process till that time. And when Blue Star happened, he was already in the Lok Sabha or vice versa. And he will tell you yourself that what he felt at that time. Some of us have read what he felt at that time, but not he himself. Hirme Karlekar is another person who presently is a consultant editor with the Pioneer. But again, he was editor of Indian Express in some of the years which were really serious for this country, and still today also, you know, the Indian Express is one of the newspapers who remains quite active as far as democratic values are concerned, as far as justice is concerned. And he has also been associated with papers like the Hindustan Times and then News Service, and presently he is also associated with the Bengali daily Aajkal. And he has also been a member of the Press Council of India 2 terms, and then a former named fellow at Harvard, something common with so this that. And we have among ourselves Harmandar Kaur. She is now a part and parcel of the Sikh Forum, but she is a very senior journalist with about 38 years of experience in the profession. And important about her is that she watched the 1980s events very closely. She has done 2 books of that period. I had been fortunate to having gone through both the books, and she met Bhindranwale, she met almost all the Kali leaders and others, and she had the first information which she has given in those books, both of them June 1984 and of November 84. So she is an eyewitness, a concerned citizen, and also a part of that community which is victimized. So therefore, she has both subjective and objective understanding of the situation. And finally, to this audience, to introduce Fulka, will be doing injustice to him and to the audience. Am I right, sir? So with that, I inquired Harmandar and reminding him that today's meeting is with regard to
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह, नमस्कार, आदाब. I am not a listed speaker today, but I was asked to say a few words, and I would like to say before Dr. Swami, because I have certain requests to make it to him. आज तो मैं डॉक्टर स्वामी और कालेकर जी को सुनने के लिए हम आए थे. 1984 जब याद भी करते हैं ना जी हम, तो एक तरह की करंट लगता है बॉडी को, डिफरेंट सी फीलिंग होती है. वो दिन जो आज कोई कल्पना भी नहीं कर सकता. इतना मुश्किल टाइम मेरा नहीं ख्याल कि हिस्ट्री में कभी भी सिखों ने देखा होगा. हमने नादर शाह का भी मुकाबला किया, शाह अब्दाली का भी किया, मगर ऐसा टाइम नहीं कभी देखा जो 1984 में हमारे साथ हुआ. जिस तरह से हमें 1984 में जिस तरह से जलील किया गया, जिस तरह से कांग्रेस ने और इंदिरा गांधी ने प्रोपोगंडा किया, एंटी नेशनल, कैन यू ट्रस्ट दिस मैन, पगड़ी बांध के वहां पे पोस्टर लगे हुए हैं, और भूल गए जी कि सबसे ज्यादा कुर्बानी, सबसे ज्यादा जो फांसी पे चढ़े कौन थे? 2% जो कम्युनिटी है देश में, देश की आजादी के लिए उन्होंने 80% से ज्यादा कंट्रीब्यूशन है. उस टाइम पे बहुत कम लोग थे जो हमारी पोजीशन को समझे, हमारे साथ खड़े हुए. पॉलिटिशियन तो बहुत ही कम थे, और उन पॉलिटिशियन में एक ग्रुप था, चंद्रशेखर जी और उनके एसोसिएट डॉक्टर सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी. सो वी थैंक हिम, प्लीज गिव हिम अ बिग हैंड. मैंने इनके उस टाइम के बारे में बहुत पढ़ा है जो स्वामी जी ने कहा, और बहुत इनकी इंटरव्यूज भी सुनी है. तो आज पर्सनली पहली बार उसके बारे में इनसे सुनूंगा. और एक और कि स्वामी जी बीजेपी में इतने एक्टिव हैं, मगर इन्होंने अपने विचार भी बदले. ये ओपनली ऑपरेशन ब्लू स्टार के बारे में, ओपनली संत पिंडरावाले के बारे में, इनकी जो मुलाकात है उसके बारे में वही कहते हैं. आज मैं स्वामी जी को एक बात बताना चाहता हूँ. आई डोंट नो, शायद आप भी वहां हो. 25 जून 1987 जब ये इमरजेंसी वापस इंट्रोड्यूस की, तो हमने एक इमरजेंसी विरोधी मंच बनाया था. तारकुंडे जी उसके प्रेसिडेंट थे, कुलदीप नैयर सब थे. तो यहाँ पे दिल्ली में 25 जून को एक मीटिंग की गई मार्च के बाद. तो वहाँ पे अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी आए. तो उन्होंने वहाँ पे मीटिंग में कहा कि मुझे बहुत अफसोस है कि हमने ऑपरेशन ब्लू स्टार को सपोर्ट किया. उन्होंने कहा हमने सोचा कि ये टेररिज्म का खात्मा करेगा, मगर वो तो टेररिज्म की शुरुआत थी जिस तरीके से इंदिरा गांधी ने ये सब किया. और ये थे बीजेपी के व्यूज, और हमें आपकी इसमें मदद चाहिए. जो हिस्ट्री को डिस्टॉर्ट किया है उस हिस्ट्री को करेक्ट करने के लिए इसके आपकी हेल्प की जरूरत है. और एक और बात, चाहे नारिक साहब ने मुझे कहा है कि ये मीटिंग जून के बारे में है, मगर जून और नवंबर को हम अलग नहीं कर सकते, और खास करके जब मैं खड़ा हो गया. तो डॉक्टर स्वामी जी की एक इंटरव्यू में देख रहा था टीवी में, जब इन्होंने कहा कि ये जो नवंबर के दरिंदे हैं उनमें से को 2-3 को सजा हो जाए तो इससे बहुत ज़्यादा फर्क पड़ेगा. डॉक्टर साहब यू आर राइट, बहुत फर्क पड़ेगा. और इसके लिए भी हमें आपकी मदद की जरूरत है. बीजेपी ने इस